Hi everybody, it's Amy Caroline. Welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to haunted travels and haunted places and spooky stuff. Welcome back to my channel. Please click the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up like and subscribe and ring the bell if you like my channel, and if you enjoy watching it. If you enjoy watching it, I would love to I would love to see you guys watch my videos and watch my ghost train videos, because I need to get credit for it. And you won't be able to comment on you won't be able to comment on YouTube, but you'll be able to comment on Instagram. And if you have any questions, you can you can comment on Instagram. If you have any questions about the history of these ghost trains and these legends, feel free to leave a comment down below on Instagram. But you can't comment on YouTube. You won't be able to comment on YouTube because the comments are turned off. I have the comments turned off on YouTube, but you'll be able to comment on Instagram. Okay. So leave a comment down below and let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So the first the story that I'll be reading, and then after that I'll be coming back later on this afternoon or this evening for the next one. But the first one that I'll be reading is called Yazoo and Mississippi Valley Ghost Train. Yazoo and Mississippi Valley Ghost Train. So it takes place in Cleveland, Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, and it takes place in the year of 1913. It takes place back in the 19-teens, and it takes place in 1913. So please enjoy this story. And then after that, I'll be back later on to do some examples and show you guys an example from the previous TV show, haunted hotels, and it will give you an example. It will give you an idea of how Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel when it gets when it gets to be filmed on there by you guys, those of you who work for the Travel Channel, and those of you who are writers on the Travel Channel, those of you who write script writers, those of you who write script writers, those of you who are script writers for the Travel Channel, if you write the story, please please include this episode on the Travel Channel, okay? All right? And please include this story also, okay? All right? So, anyway, enough of that. Yazoo, Mississippi Valley Ghost Train. Here we go, folks. A young African-American brakeman was working a freight from Cleveland, Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee in 1913. The train had orders to meet another train number 777 at Shelby, Mississippi. The brakeman was riding 3 cars back from the engine. Suddenly, the train made an emergency stop, and the engineer whistled out a flag to protect the front of the train. The brakeman jumped off the freight car he was riding and ran ahead. He had his white lantern and as he ran by the engine, the fireman handed him a red lantern. The brakeman ran a couple of 100 yards ahead to a tangent section of the track. As he did, he could hear his train reverse and back away. The brakeman was left alone at his post for over 2 hours. Finally, he heard his train slowly approaching. The brakeman stood in the middle of the track and signaled with the red lantern to show where he was. The engine stopped and the brakeman climbed in. The crewmen in the cab were silent. The brakeman set his lanterns down and took a seat. Finally, the conductor spoke. "What did you see while we was gone, Suggs?" Suggs. "Not a thing, sir, except for my own lanterns." The brakeman said, "We seen a train, Suggs." The man said, 300 yards ahead of us here. We thought we'd overlooked orders and met number 777 between stations, so we whistled out a flag and stopped, but then there wasn't no train. He looked over at the engineer and the firemen, and they nodded, so we backed up to Cleveland and wired ahead to Shelby to be sure. Number 777 has been waiting there on a siding for us the whole time. This isn't any other train." The 3 men sat silent while the young brakeman began to shake with fear. He started to think about standing there alone by himself for 2 hours. What if the ghost train had run by? When the freight got to Shelby, number 7077 was still there, waiting for them on the siding. As words of the ghost train spread, several engineers told of seeing ghost lights between Cleveland and Shelby. This was the first time anyone had seen a phantom train. Old timers said a train had wrecked along there around the turn of the century, killing the engineer and fireman. Was the wrecked train returning as a ghost? So maybe it was. They saw a light appear. And it happened to be another train. Or for some reason, then there wasn't any train. They had so we whistled out a flag and stopped, but there wasn't any train. What did he see while we was gone, Suggs? Not a thing, sir, except for my own lanterns. We seen a train, Suggs, 300 yards ahead of us here. We thought we were we thought we'd overlooked orders and met. They thought they saw something. They thought they saw something, and obviously the train didn't appear. There wasn't any train. But but down here it says, old timers said a train had wrecked a long time ago there around the turn of the century, killing the engineer and fireman. Was the wrecked train returning as a ghost? Maybe it was. So anyway. Here's a picture. I don't know if that's a picture of the train. I don't know if that's a picture of the actual ghost train, but I think, who knows, it might be. When the freight got the Shelby number 7 and 77 was still there waiting for them on the siding. Um, so so it, a- as word of the ghost train spread, several engineers told of seeing ghost lights between Cleveland and Shelby. This was the first time anyone had seen a phantom train. Old timers said a train. Yeah. Um, um, they so either they did see a train, or they did not see it. I don't know. But it does say down here, was the wrecked train returning as a ghost? Yes, it could have been. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna think, since it said that, since it says down here, was the ret returning, um was the ret returning as a ghost? What was the wreck train returning as a ghost? I'm gonna say that it did. I'm gonna go ahead and guess and say that it did. Because I I'm not in this story. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it did return as a ghost train. I don't know. And maybe they did see it. Maybe they did. You never know. So 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 anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Now I'm going to show you guys another example from the TV show that they used to have a long time ago, Haunted Travels. I'm going to show you guys an example, and you'll see the apparitions appear. You'll hear people telling their experiences of seeing a ghost and seeing an apparition. And you'll see the haunted sites. You'll hear stories of people telling their experiences of encountering a ghost, and you'll see the story going back in time. You'll see that too. You'll see the stories and the people going back in time to the old days, which is what Ghost Train has to do. Okay, all right. So here it is. Here's Haunted Travels. Here we go. Hang on a minute.
Michael Watley means fresh ideas. A leader who knows.
Wait a second. Got to get it to where it can. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hang on, people. I'm so sorry. Hang on a minute. Okay, here we go. Here is Haunted Travels. Here it is.
Cloudcroft, New Mexico is the kind of small town that immediately conjures up images of a time when the West was a bit more wild. But today, about 700 people live in Cloudcroft, where the pace is relaxed and locals greet you with a smile instead of a six-shooter.
People look out for one another, the businesses support each other, and it's just a great little community. It's a wonderful place to raise children and to vacation and relax. Relaxing is the big thing in Cloudcroft.
But it seems Cloudcroft's rough and tumble past still lingers. And there's one place in town where the past meets the present just about every night.
Welcome to the Lodge Resort and Spa in Cloudcroft, New Mexico. The Lodge is a full-service resort. A lot of people just come up here to rest and relax. We have an outdoor heated swimming pool, we have a sauna, we have an exercise room, we have a day spa that we offer massages and treatments and pedicures, manicures, things of that sort.
The Lodge also boasts an 18-hole golf course and a fine dining establishment.
Rebecca's is our fine dining restaurant, and most of our guests that lodge here, as well as people in the local area, about 2-hour drive market, they'll drive up just to have dinner at Rebecca's.
The restaurant gets its name from a longtime resident of the Lodge, who, on special occasions, has been known to make appearances out of thin air.
I had sweaty palms, my heart was just racing, and I know that when I went to see the staff downstairs, I just had this frightened look on my face.
I froze and my knees went weak, my legs went to jello, and I couldn't move and I couldn't speak, and the tips of my fingers were just shaking.
I knew it was Rebecca. I felt her presence in this area, and I knew it was her immediately.
The legend of Rebecca dates back to 1911, when the Lodge at Cloudcroft was built. It became a destination spot for local loggers and socialites looking to escape the hot New Mexico heat. But the hotel's claim to fame was its housekeepers.
Rebecca was a housekeeper here at the Lodge, and she took care of the rooms and the common areas, but she took care of a little more than that. She was what
you might call a full service housekeeper.
We also understand that she had evening duties, and she took care of some of the locals and visitors in the area.
Rebecca's promiscuous ways made her very popular among guests at the lodge. But Rebecca's extracurricular activities didn't go over so well with her lumberjack boyfriend.
She really loved men, and she had a lumberjack boyfriend, and he worked out of town a lot. He wasn't here very often, and she entertained our guests, I could say. And one night, her boyfriend came back early from a logging trip.
He asked where she was. And when he found out, he flew into a fit of jealous rage. Legend says he cut off Rebecca's head and chopped up the rest of her body, burying the remains somewhere on the property of the lodge, and leaving behind a feisty red-headed spirit with no plans on leaving her favorite haunt.
I was checking a function in this dining room behind us and doing a quick count on tables and chairs. And maybe 25 seconds in the room, I stepped out of the room, and all 3 chandeliers on the mezzanine overlooking the lobby were swinging back and forth.
Making believers out of hotel staff and guests seems to be a top priority for Rebecca's ghost. Those skeptical of her existence are often her favorite targets.
I was training a new employee, and we came over here to the coffee machine. We started brewing coffee. We went over here to the computer, and I was training her on the computer. And she asked me about the ghost. I was a skeptic back then, and I shared that with her, and I said, but it's part of your job to know this. It's a bunch of bull, but you really need to share the story. At that time, now this is 15 feet away from the computer to the coffee maker. The basket with the grounds of coffee came flying at me all the way over here, hit me in the leg, hot water and hot coffee grounds exploded all over me.
Before the 2 women could even speak, the doors to the room flew open, and a great rush of energy swarmed into the room, paralyzing them both with fear.
Needless to say, that girl never came back the next day. I braked it out and came back, but it was quite terrifying.
Rebecca had made her point, and once again had made believers out of the doubtful. Staff have learned the best way to deal with Rebecca is to acknowledge her presence. But that doesn't make them any less terrified. One night, an employee needed to fix a water pipe in the hotel's basement, and she refused to go alone.
I enlisted the help of some young men who worked for me, who were in their late teens, 17, 18. And I had told them my stories of Rebecca, and they didn't really believe. In fact, they really laughed at the whole situation.
As they reached the bottom of the stairs, Marty spoke aloud to Rebecca, as she had always done.
I would say, I believe that you're here. I'm doing something to save water. I need to do this. Please, if you won't scare me, I won't bother you.
Her young helper wasn't impressed.
You could hear the young man laughing behind me. He thought it was ridiculous. So we got about halfway through the room. I was in front of him, and he was standing right off of my left shoulder. And he reached up in the pitch black and he grabbed a hold of my shoulder. And you could literally tell that he was shaking from head to foot. He was so afraid that he could hardly speak.
The young man was led out of the basement, but couldn't relay what he had seen or experienced. One thing was certain, he wasn't laughing anymore.
His face was stark white. His arms were white. He was afraid. And I told him, all you have to do is tell her that you believe that she's here, and she won't bother you. But he got a first-hand experience with the spirit of the lodge, and it made believers out of him.
Perhaps Rebecca's bones are buried in the basement, and she doesn't like for her unmarked grave to be disturbed. And one night, Rebecca's lonely soul was seeking comfort from the living.
We had a couple visiting here, overnighting with their little girl. And her name was Rebecca, and she was about 6 years old, long red hair, quite beautiful, and she was intrigued by the Rebecca story.
The little girl asked her parents to read her Rebecca's tale before heading off to bed.
Later on, about 10:30 at night, I was in the lobby, and all of a sudden, Rebecca, the little 6-year-old Rebecca, is walking, and she's holding, it looks like she's holding someone's hand. And she's in her very beautiful white flowing nightgown, and she's walking down the stairs, and I said, Rebecca, what are you doing? And she says, oh, Rebecca came to the room, got me up, and she's taking me on a stroll of the hotel.
Does Rebecca long for a child of her own? Is she tied to the site of her gruesome death? Whatever her reason for staying, just be sure to give your respects to the resident redhead at the lodge at Cloudcroft. The cost of ignoring her might not be worth the price you'll pay.
Okay, so you see, you guys, that this is an example of how Ghost Train should look like on the Travel Channel. When you guys when you guys put Ghost Train on the Travel Channel, that is what it has to look like, okay? That is what it has to look like, okay? The story, the story has to go back in time to where it says in the book here, it has to go back in time to the year of 1913, and the name of the episode and the story is called Yazoo and Mississippi Valley Ghost Train, okay? All right? Yazoo and Mississippi Valley Ghost Train, okay? All right? So, and it takes place in between Cleveland, Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, and it takes place in the year of 1913, okay? All right? So the train had orders to, you get the story, you get it. But anyway, that is what Ghost Train has to look like on the Travel Channel when you guys put it on there, okay? Okay, all right? So, please include this episode. And leave a comment down below on Instagram, on Instagram about this, if you have any questions about it. leave a comment down below. I may not respond. I may not respond because my parents, my parents don't let me text people that I don't know. But leave a comment down below, and I may not respond. Okay. All right. Anyway, but if you have any questions about if you have any questions about the Yazoo and Mississippi Valley Ghost Train, let me know about it. And I'm gonna let the Travel Channel Company. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. I'm gonna post it on YouTube, and Instagram, and Haunted Travels will give you an idea when you watch it, just like you watch Haunted Hotels. These shows will give you an example of how Ghost Train ought to look like when it gets on the Travel Channel. Okay, all right. It's not a documentary yet. Okay, it hasn't been filmed yet. But it will. Okay. Ghost Train hasn't been filmed yet, but it will. Okay, all right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. And I will see you guys later, okay, for the next Ghost Train story. Happy haunted travels to you guys, and happy ghost watching, and happy ghost hunting. And I will see you guys later, okay? Okay, bye everybody. Bye.